All right. Welcome back, everyone, to another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at some new features that Google announced for Android, specifically for those kind of creepy Bluetooth trackers that seem to be everywhere these days. I mean, super helpful for finding your keys.
hmm
But what about when they're used for something a little less noble?
Yeah, no, it's a valid concern. I mean, the potential for misuse with these tiny devices that you can hide anywhere is definitely there. That's actually why this latest update from Google to their unknown tracker alerts on Android is so interesting.
Okay, yeah. So for those who maybe haven't been following along super closely, can you remind us what exactly are unknown tracker alerts? I feel like I vaguely remember them, but
Yeah, so basically,
yeah.
if an unfamiliar Bluetooth tracker has been moving with you, your Android phone will send you a notification. Like, let's say someone slipped a tracker in your bag and you're walking around totally unaware.
So like your phone is saying, hey, this random little gadget seems to be very interested in where you're going. That's a little unsettling, to say the least. So then what happens? What are you supposed to do with that information?
Right, well, up until now, you basically had two options: panic or trying to figure out how to find the tracker yourself. But this latest update introduces some new features that give you a lot more control.
Okay, that's good. What's the first big change?
First one is called temporarily pause location. It kind of does what it says. You can immediately stop your phone from broadcasting location data for a whole 24 hours.
So it's like hitting a big emergency button and going off the grid, basically. That seems pretty extreme, but I guess I can see how it would be useful. Does it affect all the apps on your phone? Or just the location services?
That's a good question. It actually gets into how it technically works. So what it does is it prevents your phone from broadcasting its location through the Find My Device feature, which is what those Bluetooth trackers often use to track you. Other location-based apps should keep working normally.
Okay, so it's targeted, not a complete blackout. But what if you don't just want to hide? What if you actually want to find the tracker and, deal with the problem head on?
Well, that's where the second new feature comes in, Find Nearby.
Hmm.
This one basically turns your phone into like a tracker detector. Uses Bluetooth signals to guide you to the unknown tracker's location. You can pinpoint it.
Oh, interesting. So instead of just getting an alert and feeling helpless, now my phone can actually help me track down the tracker. Is it like a hot or cold game? Or is it more specific than that?
It's definitely more sophisticated than a simple hot or cold game. It uses signal strength to give you a visual indicator of how close you are to the tracker. You can literally follow your phone's directions to find it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Finding a tiny tracker hidden somewhere, though, still sounds pretty challenging, even with this new tool.
Oh, for sure. You're absolutely right. It's not a perfect solution. The tracker could be really well hidden, or the surrounding environment could be messing with the Bluetooth signals. But it's a big step forward in giving users more control in a potentially scary situation.
Yeah, and I think what's really interesting is that both of these new features show that Google is shifting from a reactive approach to a more proactive one. It's not just about warning you about a potential threat, it's about giving you the tools to actually do something about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think these updates are part of a broader trend we're seeing with tech, moving towards more proactive and user-centric privacy solutions.
Yeah, it's like they're acknowledging that in this day and age, we need more than just a warning. We need to be able to take action and protect ourselves. So it is still kind of unsettling to think about someone trying to track you, but at least now there's a way to fight back.
Yeah, it really is a shift.
Yeah.
It's not enough to just react to privacy threats anymore. We need tools to anticipate them, address them head on.
It's definitely empowering instead of feeling like a victim. But speaking of taking charge, how accurate is this find nearby feature, really? I mean,
Right.
Bluetooth range can be so finicky, especially indoors.
Right, yeah. I mean, the accuracy of it depends on a lot of things. The type of tracker, what's around you, even the material of your stuff. Like a tracker inside a metal box is going to be way harder to detect than one that's just out in the open.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. So it won't like pinpoint the tracker exactly, but it should at least give you a general idea of where to start looking.
Yeah, exactly. Think of it like narrowing down the search area, like a compass, pointing you in the right direction. And as Bluetooth tech keeps getting better, these features will too.
That's good. It's good to know it's keeping up with the threats. But I got to admit, this whole unknown tracker alert thing, it raises some, interesting questions about privacy in general. Like, it's great our phones can warn us, but it also means like our movements are constantly being tracked, even if we don't know it.
That's a really good point. It gets to the core of that whole digital privacy debate.
Yeah.
It's like these alerts are a double-edged sword.
Mm.
They protect you, But they also kind of highlight the fact that our location is always being collected, analyzed.
Yeah, it's like this constant battle between convenience and privacy. We want the benefits of location services, but we also want to control our own data.
It's a tough balance, for sure. But I think these features, they're a step in the right direction at least,
Uh,
giving users more control over their location data.
Yeah.
It lets individuals make informed choices about their own privacy.
And it's not just about the individual, is it? This whole Bluetooth tracker thing. It affects like society as a whole, right?
Oh, absolutely. Raises all these questions about ethics in technology and the need for regulations that actually keep up with all these advancements. As these devices become more and more common and more sophisticated, we got to have clear rules in place, to prevent misuse and protect everyone's privacy.
We've talked about misuse, but it's important to remember Bluetooth trackers do have legitimate uses too. Like people use them to find their keys, keep track of luggage, even to make sure their belongings or like loved ones are safe.
You're right. It's not about demonizing the tech itself. It's the potential for misuse. And that's why features like these unknown tracker alerts are so important. People can see the difference between legitimate use and harmful tracking.
So it's not about banning them completely. It's about making sure people have the knowledge to protect themselves.
Exactly. We need to know the risks, understand the tech, and use it responsibly. That's how we navigate all this digital privacy stuff.
So it seems like a lot of the responsibility is on the user. What about the companies making this technology? What's their role in all this?
Yeah, that's a big question, right? And one that's being debated more and more. Tech companies, they have a responsibility to make sure their products protect privacy
Mm.
right from the start. It's not enough to just add features later. They need to think about what could happen, the implications, and build things in a way that puts user privacy and security first.
So it's about being proactive from both sides.
You got it. It's about creating a culture of privacy by design,
Mm.
where ethics are baked into the process right from the beginning.
All right. I think we've covered a lot today. The new features, the technical stuff, the privacy implications, even the ethical stuff. But for our listener out there who's maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed, what's the one thing they should take away from all this?
I'd say don't let fear stop you from doing anything.
Mm.
Knowledge is power, right?
Mm.
The more you know about all this, the better you can protect your own privacy.
So stay curious, stay informed, and take control.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions. If something feels off, trust your gut and dig a little deeper.
So next time you get that creepy feeling that someone's watching you.
Check your Android notifications.
Right. But seriously, we've seen some amazing advancements in privacy. But what about the future? Where do we go from here?
Yeah, that's the big question, right? Like, where do we go from here? But you know what's really cool is that we're at this point where there are some incredible advancements coming in digital privacy and security.
Oh, okay, I like where this is going. What kind of like innovations are we talking about?
Well, I think AI, artificial intelligence, is going to be huge. Imagine your devices learn your habits, your patterns,
Mhm.
and then they use that to automatically detect anything weird that could be a privacy threat and then alert you.
So like, I don't know, a digital bodyguard
Hmm.
that knows your routine and can flag anything suspicious?
Exactly. And not just flag it, but actually do something about it. Like,
Yeah.
what if your phone could just shut down a Bluetooth tracker that's acting shady? Automatically, you don't even have to do anything.
Okay, that would be amazing. Like a whole security team working behind the scenes, keeping your data safe.
It's not science fiction. We're already starting to see this kind of AI-powered security happening in other areas.
That's pretty exciting. But flipping it around for a second, we talked a lot about protection, but what about transparency? As things get smarter, how do we make sure we still understand what's happening with our data and that we're still in control?
Right. That's super important. As tech gets more complex and automated, we can't lose sight of user control and transparency.
So we need systems that are not just smart, but also accountable to the people using them.
Exactly. Like, imagine you can easily see which devices are tracking you, why they're doing it, and you can just turn it off whenever you want. All really simple and easy to understand.
Okay, now that's a future I can get behind, where privacy isn't just a setting, it's like a basic right, just built into how everything works.
Yeah, that's the goal, right? To have
Yeah.
this digital world where privacy and security are just there,
Yeah.
part of everyday life. So everyone can feel safe and confident online.
I like it. Well, this has been a really fascinating deep dive into the world of Bluetooth trackers, digital privacy, all that good stuff. But before we wrap things up, for anyone listening who's maybe feeling a little freaked out by all this, what's like the one piece of advice you would give them?
I think I would just say, don't be afraid. The more you know about this stuff, the better you can protect yourself.
Have to stay curious, stay informed, and take control.
Exactly. The future of privacy is really up to all of us.
That's a great note to end on. It's been great having you on the show. And for everyone listening, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. Until next time, stay safe out there.